Hey, so Sawyer and I, who you cannot see, are here today to talk to you about branding. And before you jump off thinking this is not very interesting and I don't need any help with that, I would encourage you to stay and at least hear what I have to say in the intro, which is that, what do you think of when you think of branding? Most people I talk to, when they think of branding, they think of some stuffy corporate office and logos and colors and designs. And while it's true, all of that is a part of branding, it's not the kind of branding that I want to talk about today. So when I say branding, I mean going a little bit deeper and focusing on who you are, what you're all about, and how you convey that to the world. And this sounds simple, but it's not, which is why we're talking about it today. So I want to talk to you a little bit about sort of redefining the way you think of branding, but also how you can start to dig into your brand and how it can really get you results. So if you feel like, for instance, you're struggling to get noticed, like you're not having the kind of engagement you want on social media, you're not building your fan base, you're not getting more opportunities, like you just feel stagnant, then I would be willing to bet that it has to do with your branding. It's probably not anything to do with the amount of shows you're playing or your music or anything like that. It probably has a lot to do with your brand and the fact that you don't have one and are not conveying it well if you do. So while I know that branding might not seem as urgent as booking a show or a tour or getting back in the studio, I promise you it is such a foundational piece of your career. So if you are struggling at all in your music career, please take a couple minutes to watch this and see if it helps you. I bet it will. So the first thing that I always suggest people when they are struggling with branding is to start with why. And specifically when I say that, I mean to watch Simon Sinek's TED Talk, which is called, actually, I don't know if it's called Start With Why, but if you type in Simon Sinek TED Talk, it pops right up. He also has a book called Start With Why. And this is a talk that completely changed my life. I watch it probably every couple months just to sort of refresh and recharge. It's about 20 minutes, so it's not a huge time sink, and I promise you that 20 minutes is the best 20 minutes that you'll spend that day, week, month. It's incredible. I'm not going to go too deep into it because he says it much better than I can, but trust me when I say that if you either don't know what branding means or you don't know how to convey it or apply it to your own career, definitely watch that. The biggest takeaway for me, my favorite quote from the whole thing is, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I think if you just take a second to let that sink in, it'll really, you'll get a good sense of the talk. But I'm gonna stop rambling. It's so good though, so please, number one, watch that if you're struggling with branding. So this is my second tip if you're struggling with branding, and it's to create case studies. Now, I am a case study nerd. Everything I do, I want a case study. So anytime I have a new project, a new direction, anything I'm about to launch or that I'm even just curious about, even if it has nothing to do with my career, I always want to see how somebody did it before me. I want to see the ins and outs of how somebody did that. I want to see where they started, how they, where they ended up, but all of the middle pieces are what interests me. So where did they fail? Where did they get back up? What worked for them? What didn't? Seeing that very raw behind the scenes for me is a really, really good way to learn, because you can not only learn from them, but instead of, I don't want you to create a blueprint. I don't want you to go, okay, I'm going to follow these exact steps. I want you to go, okay, what resonates with me? What they did, does that resonate with me? Is that something I want to try? Or oh, I've had that same failure, so maybe I can learn this lesson from it. I think finding a couple people that you can really dig into, both major successes and people that are just a couple steps ahead of you, and being able to really look at them and see what they did well, where they made mistakes, even things like looking at their website or their social media and going, what are they doing that they're doing well? What is getting traction? What resonates with me? Being able to do all of that, I think, is a really important step to growing your own career. And I know that it has helped me immensely. When I first started the PR company, I had two mentors that were crucial, where I was able to do exactly what I said. I was able to go, okay, what services do they offer? And what kind of events do they work? And do I want to work those events? And so for you, that could be looking at a band's social media and going, what's working? What's resonating? What do I like? What don't I like? So case studies are definitely one of the top ways to really get clear on what your brand is and then learn how you can execute it. And the third tip, and I know there are so many more tips, but in the interest of keeping this short, the third main tip I have for finding your brand is to just play around with it. lover or hater, Taylor Swift is a great example of this, because you look at her brand 10 years ago and you look at it today and it's totally different. But there are some core things that have stayed the same, which is why her fans continue to follow her year after year. But in general, her brand changes and shifts as she's grown up, you know, and changed her genre and changed her look and changed her message. All of that, like, you can do that. So play around with it, have an idea of what your brand is, but know that you're not locked into it forever. If in 2 years you want to go a totally different direction, it's fine. You can change it. You just have to start somewhere. So I hope that's been helpful. I know that was a really fast 3 quick tips. I would love to go more in depth with this if it's something you're interested in. So please let me know if you do want more branding tips, if this is something you struggle with. But I hope this was a good start. And in the comments, I would just love to hear like a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you feel like, yes, this is something I want more of. No, I don't care about branding at all. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.